We have no brakes, fellers. No pressure, no hydraulic pressure. Let's see how many of you can see what is wrong with this vehicle before we start working on it. Alright, for those of you that are new to the channel, I am the Kentucky Yankee. What I do is I work on automobiles, a little bit of everything. Lawnmowers, ATVs, things like that. I even build mud mowers, which is stupid, but I do it, you know, for fun. Listen, guys, today we got a Dodge Dakota in here. It's a 2004 or 5, I guess, 6, maybe, I don't know. And these are great trucks, 4.7s. The customer's complaining he doesn't have any hydraulic pressure he put brakes on. I'm going to show you guys why the vehicle will not get hydraulic pressure. You see if you know. You see if you can see why it's not getting the hydraulic pressure. And if you can, I'll show it. I'll tell you why, and I'll show you and we'll repair it. All right, so here it is, the Dodge Dakota. First thing that, one of the things they did was they put a master cylinder on it. Keep in mind, guys, it did have hydraulic pressure before it was worked on. You see that? And I'm going to show you guys. You can see the lines down there, I hope, and everything. And there's the master cylinder. I didn't see any problems with that. So now let's raise it up and look underneath it. Okay, so they put front brakes on. They said they've had this trouble before where they weren't able to bleed them. So let's just do a preliminary check. And there it appears as though that caliper is not very old, and there's new brakes and rotors on there. I hope you guys can see it. And same on this side. Now let's look at the back brakes. And although these back brakes, well, they were also replaced. There's the pads and rotors, and there's the caliper, which has not been replaced. Looks like the front ones have been recently, but not the back. Same there. And some of you, few of you, I'm sure, already see the problem. And so do I, but let's take the wheels off. Two different size lug nuts on this one. For the weekend warriors and the guys that just love to work on cars that don't know, don't know a whole lot about them, that's what I'm going to do right now, guys. I'm going to give you one more chance to guess and see what's wrong with it. The mechanics already know what's wrong with it, guys. But I thought it'd be fun for amateurs to try and figure out and see what's wrong with it. I'm not going to be hard on this guy. He's a friend of mine, and it could happen to anybody, especially if you don't do it for a living. So I'm going to show you all the brake system one more time, guys. See if you can see it, and then we're going to repair it. This is the driver's side wheel. Got brand new rotors on there. Pads are on there. This caliper appears to be fairly new. It's got a little rust, surface rust. So I don't know if they've been struggling with this problem or what. I'll show you the back side here. And the hose, and there you go. Next wheel. This is the back. There's new brakes and new rotor on there. And there you go. There's the hose. And that's enough, guys. I'm not going to show you all four wheels because you should have already seen the problem by now. I'm going to tell you what it is. Let's get started fixing it. And the problem is the calipers are on the wrong side. When you put the calipers on the wrong side, the bleeder screws are on the bottom instead of the top. The air needs to travel, the fluid needs to travel to the bottom of the caliper and work its way up. The air needs to escape out of the top. If you got the bleeder screw on the bottom, air gets trapped in the caliper. And all four calipers were put on that way, guys. We need to swap sides. I lost some video footage somehow or another. I pointed it out and showed it to you. I don't know what happened. But anyways, that's what's wrong with it. I'm going to show you how to fix it. So we're just going to take these two caliper bolts off. Not the bracket or anything like that. You don't have to take that off. Just these two bolts. We're going to save this hose bolt for last. I'm going to go on the other side and take the two bolts loose on the caliper so that the fluid doesn't drain out all over the place. A lot of times, just to make the calipers free, I'll pull them back like this. That puts pressure on the pistons and frees them up for you so you can get them off easy without having to use a tool. That's the easiest way on this situation. Let's go to the other side. Bleeder screw on the bottom, guys. That's the problem. Pull the caliper at an angle. That pushes the pistons in, makes it all nice and loose for you. And now we got to take this hose off and swap sides with this caliper. Fluid's going to run everywhere. And there's your copper washer. This copper washer right here, guys. One on each side of the hose. Our bolt right there. There's one on this side, one here. That'll seal it up real good so fluid doesn't leak. Let's get the other side off. There's one side off. Now here's the caliper from the other side. And when we mount that one, bleeder screws up on the top. Can you see that? Yep, you can see it. I'm not going to spend a bunch of time tightening those. You want to get this back on and get it sealed back up. Make sure your washer's clean. And then all you got to do is tighten up your last two caliper bolts. I think we'll wait to spray with brake clean till after we bleed them because it's going to run all down there through there anyways. Okay, and now onto the back brakes. Same problem, guys. See the bleeder screw right there? It needs to be up here, and I've already said that. So it's two 10mm bolts. And then the hose. This one's got a brake pad on here that we've got to look at. I think I've got to remove this outer pad. That's as far as that bolt will come. I'm just going to break this loose just to make sure it comes loose. And that was already a little loose, which is strange. But it is loose. That's thunder outside, and again, just pull these calipers to the side a little bit. That'll make them loose. On these, you got to take the top loose first. And I got to get a pry bar or something. Alright guys, so here I am, now I'm back. I'm going to take this guy and pry the caliper back. And that just takes it loose. Whoops. And it fell. I'm getting ready to do a parody about Musty One. And he always says this guy and talks like that. So now we'll take this pad off and there you go. It's sticking. And we'll take this guy and put it on the other caliper, I think, and bring the other caliper over here and put it on. Alright guys, so real quick before we move on, let me get us out here in the light a little bit more. I want you to see this. This is the back caliper, okay? Of course we've talked about it. This will be the top. If you'll look, that's how the pads fit, guys. See, this clip goes on the top and squeezes down. And if you'll notice, these are flat on both sides because you slip it in like this. The bottom, if you'll notice the bottom pads, well, this back one has a hook on both sides, see? You hook it on the bottom, you slip it forward. and that's how it fits. The inside pad is just one piece like on the top, but the bottom, it hooks on the bottom. You slip it forward, you bolt it on. Now, this bolt's got to go in first because it can't fit in with the leaf spring in the way. Let's try that again. And now just tighten these bolts. Take your hose off. Don't forget the 2 washers, one on each side of the hose mount. Whenever you put hoses on, guys, always check and make sure they're routed nicely. They're not twisted or anything like that. Always start things with your fingers first so that you don't cross thread stuff and ruin stuff. And it's bad enough everything now that is made is junk to start with. You don't want to strip it and cross thread it. And there you go, guys. Gonna do the same thing on the other side, and I'll show you how to bleed them. We'll bleed them, I'll just bleed them by myself to show you how I do it when I'm alone. Because I don't have any friends, nobody helps me, I'll show you how to do it by myself. Tighten all the bleeders up. That's where we're at, guys. I tighten all 4 bleeders up. Next thing you got to do is just pump the brakes up. Oh, cow, it's dark in here. Hold on a minute, guys. I'll get you a light. Okay, so next, just pump the brakes up. And I'm doing it with my pry bar here because I'm going to show you something. First, we're just trying to get those calipers to open up and press against the rotors. And you can feel when they start getting pretty close. So the next thing I do, guys, and all I do, it's no big deal. I'll adjust the seat back just a little bit. I'll push this brake down with this pry bar and put it against the seat so it holds it in like that. Then we'll come out here to the caliper and I'll just unscrew this. I'll loosen the bleeder screw. And there you go. And now, guys, what you gotta do is go back in there, let your pry bar up, push it back down, and do it again. And it takes a long time, but if you don't have any help and you don't have a vacuum pump and all that, this is one way of doing it. Brakes feel great. Always check and recheck everything. Brake lines, caliper bolts, torque your wheels. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you next time.
Hey, Abigail. Hey, Abigail. Roll over. Okay, now play dead. Abigail, shake hands. Do you know how to roll over? Shake hands? Or play dead? I'm going to go ahead and give you some treats anyways, Abigail. There you go. If human beings don't have to produce anything, and they still get treats, why shouldn't you? Good dog.